Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to the official MC Wraps YouTube channel. Really what we're going to focus on this channel primarily is anything that has to do with vehicle wraps and just anything with cars related in general. So that's kind of what you're going to expect on this channel, and I just wanted to present a brief introduction of what that's all about before we get into today's topic of the best starter vinyl wrap tools that you can get to begin the job yourself essentially. As you probably are aware, in the vinyl wrap industry, it is pretty costly when it comes to doing some vinyl wrap work, whether it involves doing just chrome deletes on cars or trim wraps to full on full car wraps. So of course those are all going to have different price points, and if it's something that you're looking to do as like a DIY type thing, here's kind of just a quick video with at least the tools you'll need to get yourself started with pretty much any wrap job. So we're going to get into that today, and I'm going to go over just again some of the tools, some of the accessories that you're going to need again to make your life easier when you are trying to do the wrap yourself. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it, and I hope you guys do enjoy this video. So, like myself and most of you out there that probably do your own vinyl wraps or do it as a business, I do it as a business myself, and I had to start off with pretty crappy tools, I would say. I've been in that situation when I was still practicing on my own cars with vinyl wrapping, where I had the good old credit card and the hair dryer, and then some vinyl that I bought on eBay. Again, we've all been there if we're watching this video, if we're trying to expand either our business or just get better as like a personal hobby with vinyl wrapping cars. So we all have to start somewhere. Of course, gradually you will increase your tools and materials that you use, again, because you're going to start seeing, like myself, I'm very attention to detail. If I see even one little thing, it already bothers me and I have to redo it. So when you start getting to that phase, of course you're going to need better tools to, again, complement your work and make it, again, a quality finish, whether it's for yourself or for your customer, for your business. So definitely one of the most important tools to start off is, which I have here, okay, well, it's right in front of me, but you're going to need the vinyl wrap to actually start off with. Now, I'm not going to jump into too many different brands because there are a few brands out there that are pretty good. One that I'd recommend for beginners especially is Avery Dennison, and 3M is also another one I'd recommend. But this one I stuck with just because I really did a lot of research on this type of vinyl, and this has that air release technology where as you apply, if you do come across any minor bubbles, usually if you have a squeegee, you can just get those bubbles out of there, and it looks pretty good. So this again is a lot easier to use for those of us that are starting off fresh and are not too familiar with what kind of material to use, and may have that issue with bubbles and things like that when you're applying your vinyl. This definitely is a good way to start with this brand, Avery Dennison. I've used it for a good while now on my own Infinity and for a couple customers as well. And again, you can't go wrong with this kind of material. Their brand is quite excellent. So that's of course one of the things you'll need, starting off in the vinyl wrap world. Again, whether you do it for your own car or for customer cars, it's a good vinyl to use, and again, it's something that I'll keep using on my clients' cars and even on my own for the future. So that's one of the things. Now we'll get into the next bit. So now we have our vinyl. Now the next huge thing is preparation, because again, you want your surface of whatever you're wrapping to be in pristine, clean condition, because you cannot start applying vinyl on something that's contaminated with either salt from winter roads, just grime from wherever you're driving, really bugs, anything like that. You really want to make sure you prepare your area first before you apply anything. So first thing is a spray bottle, super helpful, and what I have in here is not water, it's 70% isopropyl alcohol. Again, it's super important because you can't apply it, it's not going to stick, it's going to look crappy if you do it. And of course the other thing that goes hand in hand is some microfiber cloths. So what you would do is you would take your cloth, you'd spray a little bit on the cloth, and then of course wipe away the area that has contaminants. Of course, usually if it comes to me working on a client's car, I always advise them to at least wash the car prior or run it through a wash, however they choose to do it. Just again, so I'm not working on a dirty canvas. And then from there, I can do the fine details with cleaning out any other contaminants that I see. So that's the big thing there. Spray bottle with isopropyl alcohol and microfiber cloths. In addition to this too, you may want to get some masking tape, and I think you really need to, especially if you're working on, very nice cars, your own or customers, because you want to mask off the area. So then when it comes to cutting or trimming the excess vinyl, so you don't scratch the paint on your car or the customers. Again, very important. This can definitely save thousands of dollars in damage if you are careless and accidentally damage a customer's car by scratching it with a knife. So masking tape, microfiber cloth, and a spray bottle with isopropyl alcohol. Typically 70% is the good go-to for that, so I would definitely go with that percentage. On to the next bit. So now after prepping your surface, you're ready to apply the vinyl. You also need a heat gun. So like I said prior, we've all had to use the hair dryer at one point or another, and at one point you will need to upgrade to something that's a little bit more high-tech and better quality that can get the job done a lot quicker, because with a hair dryer it typically takes a little longer to heat the vinyl to where it's stretchy and you can apply it with ease. So a heat gun kind of delivers the heat right away. The one that I have here is a Wagner heat gun. So it does have a few settings on here. It does have a low and high mode, and then you can adjust exactly how strong you want the heat to come out of the heat gun. And then from there, the power button is pretty straightforward, especially after the heat gun has been on for a while. It goes into a cool down mode when you press the power button, where it basically blows cold air to cool the nozzle, because the nozzle is extremely hot on heat guns, so that is something to definitely take into consideration when handling a heat gun. Always advise to just read your manual if you do purchase one of these. I got this for around $40 or so. They sell them at Home Depot. This one's definitely a very good beginner slash middle range skill level from what I found out. You don't really need to go all crazy into a heat gun, but this one will get the job done. I've done several wraps with this, and again, to me it works just fine. But again, a very crucial instrument needed when you are wrapping any type of vehicle or trim or anything like that. So then the next crucial tools, especially when it comes to applying larger vinyl, meaning like if you're trying to do a door or a hood or trunk or anything like that, or honestly any part of the car for that matter, is you're going to need squeegees. Now, squeegees come in all sorts of different thicknesses, and the pads, they're kind of like a felt pad on the bottom. They all come in different styles. I kind of bought a wide variety. I actually on Amazon I bought just a whole package of different squeegees. Like there's different thicknesses. Some of them flex more than others. Like this one's a very, very strong and thick plastic, so it doesn't flex as much as opposed to maybe like this one. There's a lot more flex in this one. That just plays a big role too, depending on what you're trying to apply your vinyl to. But again, squeegees definitely play a huge role when it comes to making sure you get all the air bubbles out, any small creases or anything like that. Typically you want to, as you pull the vinyl, you want to kind of squeegee away any bubbles while you're applying. That gives you the best and even finish without any bubbling or stretch marks or anything like that. So squeegee definitely comes into play. The other thing too are triangles. They kind of work great as tucking tools as well. I do have additional tucking tools here, especially when it comes to tucking. If you have some minor excess trim, again, you tuck it in so then it pretty much goes into the seam of like your bumper, for example, so nothing pulls or anything like that. Then you post heat it. So tucking tools and squeegees are definitely an important tool to have. Another one in addition to is some cutting tools. So this one this is especially helpful when you're, again, working on, let's say, a full vehicle wrap, or you're working with quite large sheets of vinyl when it comes to measuring out and cutting. This makes it a lot easier as opposed to cutting it with just a blade. This will kind of give you a lot straighter cuts because you can hold it a certain way, and it just gives you a steadier hand as opposed to a blade. So again, that's just something that I definitely recommend. The squeegees are definitely an important part to this when it comes to laying and applying the vinyl, making sure that everything is smooth, neat, no bubbles, and again, pairing with high quality vinyl makes the job a lot easier, especially when you're just starting off, or it makes it even easier too when you're more experienced, you're kind of familiar with how the vinyl works. Again, squeegees will make your life a lot easier. Now when it comes to trimming and cutting excess vinyl, there are two different types of tools you can use for this. One, of course, being is the your standard knife. However, you want to make sure you want to get the one that's the 30-degree blade, because again, it makes the cuts a lot easier. They had 45-degree blades, which are kind of more chunkier, and again, it's a lot harder to cut, especially when you're trying to go around very tight areas. But 30-degree usually is very good. I bought just like a pack of these off of eBay. The blades are extremely sharp, and again, it makes it easier when you're cutting through the vinyl. The other one, unfortunately, I don't have today. I'm actually waiting for a supply to come in, is a tool called knifeless tape. Just to kind of explain that as easy as possible without, unfortunately, having the product in my hand. Knifeless tape is kind of the version of this, except you have pretty much no chance of cutting into paint or anything like that on a car by mistake, or the trimming or anything like that. Knifeless tape is something that typically is applied first on the area where you're gonna make the initial cut, and then when you lay the vinyl over it, there's a little strand that you leave off with the knifeless tape, which then you can split, and there's like a little wire in there. It's fairly sharp, and you can take that wire and pull it across your cut line, and then again, that makes an even cut with the vinyl, and then from there you can continue to make it prettier with, squeegeeing out whatever remainders there, tucking it, post-heating it to make sure that it stays firm and it doesn't peel back. So unfortunately, that'll probably be a separate video. I don't have knifeless tape to really showcase today, but again, it's a very helpful tool, and it's definitely something that a beginner to moderate level vinyl wrap person, or however they call them, should have at least in their arsenal of tools. So I myself am more so past the beginner stage, but more so in the medium, I would say. I'm pretty decent, I'm pretty good, I'm getting better as I keep practicing. I'm going to utilize knifeless tape a little bit more to familiarize myself, so that's still something that I'm waiting on at this moment. But again, two very important tools when it comes to cutting vinyl, and especially it helps protect the customer's car from any additional scuff marks with the knife if you are working on like full wraps, for example, or very tight areas where you just can't get in with a knife. That's not saying that don't use the knife at all. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities where you can use the knife where it's probably easier than knifeless tape. But again, knifeless tape is typically used in those very tricky areas where just a blade might be a little risky because you could damage the car while you're wrapping. So again, very important for those tools as well. So last but not least, I got this part here. It's actually magnets, and the use for these again comes in handy when you're making very large wraps. Again, hoods, doors, full car wraps, you're typically going to want to use these because especially if you're wrapping a car by yourself and you don't have anybody to help you apply the vinyl, you may want to utilize these so then you're not dragging the vinyl on the floor collecting contaminants while you're trying to apply one corner, because that's probably what's going to end up happening. What these allow you to do is if you're working on a large sheet that you're trying to apply to your hood, for example, you can pin one side to one side of the car while you go to the other side to take off your vinyl and start applying, and then you gradually take the plastic off underneath the vinyl, and then by the time you get to your magnets, you can pull them off and then you can apply the sheet yourself. And again, you don't have to worry about anything dragging on the floor, because again, you got to remember when you're applying vinyl and you take the plastic off, it's going to really attract a lot of contamination because there's this static discharge when you remove the plastic from the vinyl. So again, to avoid any extra contamination falling under the vinyl, again, it's better to utilize these as your extra set of hands to ensure you do a clean job, that the product sits as it's supposed to with no blemishes or anything else popping through the vinyl. So magnets, definitely super helpful. A lot of this stuff too is purchased kind of like in a package deal. So I think on eBay or Amazon, they sell like a package for maybe like 20 bucks or so with a bunch of squeegees, a bunch of tucking tools, magnets, knives, and that sort of thing. So if you're, again, a beginner looking to kind of get a package going, that's something that's really the best bang for your buck. You'll get a lot of the basic tools you'll need to at least complete the job. And then again, from there, I'm sure even in the future, once you have an expert level at this sort of thing, those same tools will still come in handy. You're still going to use them to, again, work the most complex of jobs. You'll probably just develop new techniques to do it, again, based off of your profession and how long you've been doing it. But again, this tool set basically can work for somebody just starting off or somebody that's more on the expert level doing this for a number of years. But again, some of the very important tools there. All right, to summarize everything, this pretty much is all, again, like I mentioned, you can buy it in a package deal. So then whether you're beginner or expert at this sort of thing when it comes to vinyl wrapping, a lot of these tools, again, they're going to benefit you, again, depending on where you are in the spectrum based off of your experience in vinyl wrap. I myself am somewhere in middle grade there, so all of this stuff helps me tremendously when it comes to doing, again, my own car or a customer's car. And again, that's really the basics that you'll need there. I really want you guys also to come check out my page on Facebook, MC Wraps, which is what I'm going to be sharing with you in the description of the video below, so you can have a chance to check out my page. It is fairly newly founded. It's something that I created recently, but I have been doing wraps since maybe about 6 to 8 months or now, so I'm making it a little more official now with a YouTube channel and of course a Facebook page, just to kind of market myself a little bit more and, you know, again, bring in more clients to, again, more practice, work on awesome cars and that sort of thing. So I really hope that this video was a bit informative and at least gives you an idea of where to start when it comes to vinyl wrapping, and hopefully kind of gives you some comfort level to at least, you know, understand what these tools are and when to use them. Of course, I am going to have a lot more detailed videos of utilizing every one of these tools, so you kind of get an idea of how it works and when to use it. So for now, this is just the introduction video. I really hope you guys would subscribe to this channel, just again, because I will post more informative information when it comes to vinyl wrapping things on either customers' cars or my own car, just some tips and tricks and that sort of deal. So again, that'll be featured here. And again, more things on my Facebook page as well. I'm always going to share 2 and 2 together. So again, you'll be able to see how things go on different ends of the social media world. So again, thanks so much for watching, guys. My name was Max, and you guys have a great day. Thanks.